Hello there. Is this really the face of Scotland that the silent majority of Scotland's population want the world to see? There are ways of making yourself heard, but what we just witnessed in Scotland should not be one of them. And I wonder how many people across the rest of the UK will be reappraising any plans they had to visit Scotland. Looking at the antics of those protesters outside the Tory leadership hustings at Perth Concert Hall, you'd think that the Tory government had sent a battalion of latter-day black and tans up north to quell them. When what's actually happened is that the UK government has sent billions of quid to Scotland for the SNP to squander away time and time again. And Holly Moscrop, the chairman of the Young Scottish Conservatives, pointed out that this abusive behaviour by some is exactly why many women refuse to get involved in politics. While a Tory member of the Scottish Parliament, Rachel Hamilton, called it stomach churning. Even a BBC Scotland journalist, James Cook, had to take some of the heat, as well as some pensioners on a bus who had eggs thrown at them. But the SNP leader Nicola Sturgeon has described the behaviour by protesters as disgraceful. So that's okay then, isn't it? Now there will be many people in Scotland who will be frustrated and alarmed by these events and tell us that these protesters do not speak for them. All I can say is it is only you that can change things in Scotland. And sadly, many English people who live in Scotland will be doing what those awful SNP supporters want them to do, planning to get out of Scotland and take their money and businesses with them. After all, who would want to live in a country that is run by and for people like that? I also wonder how many of Sturgeon's new progressive hate laws will be used against those spitting and screaming vitriolic protesters. And all the while, as Guido Fawkes and the Telegraph point out, Nicola Sturgeon is looking to dampen the spirit of Scotland by interfering in the venerable Scotch whisky-making process. When making single malt Scotch, it transpires that about 2% of the ethanol evaporates into the atmosphere, and Sturgeon, or maybe her Scottish Green Coalition partners, think that this is a major part of the so-called climate emergency and wants ways to be found to mitigate the impending doom. But according to a Scotch Whisky Association spokesman, some loss of spirit from casks during maturation is a natural part of the whisky-making process. Losses of ethanol average around 2% per year, and as the Scottish Government has previously stated, it is neither harmful to the health or impactful on the environment due to its rapid dispersal. So what is Sturgeon looking to do with her 6-month study into the impact of the evaporation of this menacing-sounding non-methane volatile organic compounds, or NMVOC? Are we to see single malts subjected to new taxes? How would that go down for the SNP? And will people switch to Irish whisky instead?